January 29th meeting of the Personnel Committee to order. It is 7:35. Welcome, everyone. Quick announcement. This year, the Personnel Committee has got a little bit of a different makeup, so I want to welcome everybody. Vice President, Vice Chair Tiona Brown, and Dave Doucette are joining the committee this year. Thanks for being here. Thanks to the other councilors for joining. We have one item on our agenda. It is order number 24-100-9071, communication from Mayor Dumas with the appointment of Elizabeth Austin to the Conservation Commission for a 2-year term set to expire May 5th, 2026. So I will read the letter from Mayor Dumas. Dear Council President Ossing and councilors, I am pleased to submit for your approval the appointment of Elizabeth Austin to the Conservation Commission. Elizabeth will replace Karen Paquin, who is resigning her position as of Monday, February 5th. Elizabeth will serve out the remainder of Karen's unexpired term, which expires on May 5th, 2026. Elizabeth has an educational background in the conservation field with a bachelor's degree in environmental science from Framingham State University. In his work as a paralegal, she has helped coordinate environmental projects that adhere to permit requirements and has worked closely with various types of environmental reports. She is the current vice chair of the Middlesex Conservation District, an advocacy group that helps identify natural resource needs and conservation goals throughout Middlesex County. I've included her resume for your review. I'm excited to have Elizabeth become part of the Conservation Commission and share her talents and background with the city. I'd like to thank Karen Paquin for her years of dedicated service on the Conservation Commission and to the city. Please do not hesitate to contact me or my office with any questions. Sincerely, J. Christian Dumas, Mayor. I'd like to thank the mayor for his letter and echo the sentiments thanking Karen Paquin for her years of service on the Conservation Commission. And if anyone is, already has the question, Karen will continue to do the great work that she has been doing on the trails throughout our city. So she is not leaving that particular task, which we are all very grateful for because they've done a lot of good work. With that, Elizabeth, you want to come up to the well? We can introduce you. Please. Absolutely. Welcome the chair of the Conservation Commission, Mr. Clancy. And before we do introductions, I think it might be helpful for folks watching at home if they have, just a little bit more information about the Conservation Commission. So the mission of the Conservation Commission is to protect the natural resources of Marlborough, including both the wetlands and natural open spaces. Tasks include administering the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, undertaking land acquisition, managing conservation land, and offering public education and participation on environmental issues. Open space increases the quality of life for all residents. A healthy environment provides clean water, clean air, recreation, and increased property values. Protecting land around water supplies helps to keep our drinking water clean. The Commission permits and oversees the construction of projects within 100 feet of wetlands or 200 feet from rivers to ensure that the wetlands are protected from siltation or contamination due to the adjacent construction. Conservation Commission is made up of 7 members, a board of dedicated volunteers that are all appointed by the mayor, and they meet the first and third Thursdays of every month starting at 7 p.m. They are chaired by Ed Clancy, who has joined us here. Dave Williams, John Scarron, Alan White, Dennis Demers, and William Dunbar are also commissioners on the commission. So I hope that provides a little bit of background for folks. I want to open the floor to Elizabeth, if you want to just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your interest in the Conservation Commission.
Sure. So I'm Elizabeth Austin.
Okay.
Oh my God. I'm Elizabeth. I've lived in Marlborough my whole life. Yeah, I'm interested in the Conservation Commission because it's right up my alley if you look at my background. And I've been volunteering for as long as I can remember, so I'm excited to do this.
Great. Thank you so much. Before we open up to questions from the committee, I'd like to ask Mr. Clancy if he has anything he'd like to add.
I've never been at a loss for words. Excuse me, I got a frog in my throat for some reason. No, I'm all set. No, when we heard that Karen Paquin was resigning from the commission, it was, she felt as though she was ready to go off and do other things with the Trails Committee and so on. So we were always perplexed as to who can fill a position filled by a person that has a big seat. Liz has been attending our meetings and has been, you know, contributing as we go through the various permits that are brought before us. I'm not exactly sure if you take a, you take a look at her resume, and I feel very deficient as to even my background on it, even though I've only been on it for about 55 years. So in other words, Liz has a big seat to fill, you know, and but with her background and her education and what she's done in life is going to be a tremendous asset to the Conservation Commission. I am here to totally endorse her as another commissioner to be appointed by the City Council and by the mayor. Okay. But she's a perfect fit.
Thank you very much. All right, we'll start by opening up to questions and comments from members of the committee. Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So, Elizabeth, you have, for a short resume of time, you actually have a lot of experience, so I consider that to be really good. What brought you to England for a year abroad? What was studying there that you couldn't get here?
Well, I wanted to study abroad, so the school that I went to in England was 13th in the world for environmental science, so that was very appealing to me. And the way that they taught it was completely different and interesting.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Chair Navin. Check the names. So as I know Mr. Clancy, and I'm so glad you still call him Mr. Clancy as well. I don't think I can call you anything besides Mr. Clancy. But as you know, Conservation Commission is something I kind of grew up with and been part of my life for a very long time. So when I told my mother that this item was coming up on the personnel agenda, she actually went into panic mode because she couldn't believe that Karen wasn't going to be continuing. And so then I called Priscilla, and I guess I didn't focus enough on the resume because I said, you know, do you have any questions or concerns about the candidate? We're going to be having a meeting. And Priscilla said, did you know Sandy Austin? And I said, yes. She was Sandy's daughter. And I go, okay. And then I heard that you would be at the meeting tonight and with full endorsement. And so, you know, with this background and your passion for the environment, I can only thank you for coming on board and taking this on. And so with that, I would move to approve the appointment of Elizabeth Austin to the Conservation Commission.
Great. Motion has been made and seconded to approve the appointment of Elizabeth Austin to the Conservation Commission. Is there any further discussion from any other members of the council? Councilor Orm.
Thank you. And I just mentioned it earlier to Elizabeth that at our city council meeting, I mentioned how impressed I was with your resume. Not just the fact that I went to Framingham State College back when Ed wasn't my teacher, but he was known as Mr. Clancy by most, including our own executive. But it is a very impressive resume, and I give you a lot of credit. My son studied abroad for 4 months. What a difference it made in his seeing the world, not just this country. The one question I have, and I give the Conservation Commission a lot of credit, last year we had some very controversial subdivisions being proposed, and they were very good about stating the environmental needs of one of them, and I was actually very impressed. It takes a lot to do that, and those are the things that you may see this year or next year. I think we may be seeing more of it, but where do you stand with that? I know you're an environmental scientist, that's my background too, but are you ready to take on those type of challenges? Because they are, I'm sure they're difficult decisions. Mr. Clancy, I'm sure you can add to this as well. Whoever. Sorry, it's a tough question, I know. You're not even on the commission yet, but I'm just curious how your goals and so forth with protecting our environment in Marlborough.
That is the ultimate goal for me, is to protect the environment. Adversity, it doesn't scare me. I'm not concerned about that.
Okay. And if I can just lead on one more question. I'm sorry to... I'm sorry, Mr. Clancy.
I'm going to jump in on that. Okay. You know, kind of an interesting thing, Dave, Councilor Doucette asked a question about studying abroad. That was never anything that was even offered when I was in college. Of course, that was in the dark ages. Because you figure if I was Mark Orum's teacher,
advisor,
I can look around the room and see all my former students here, right. And they're looking back at me. I'm saying to myself, well, I was successful in that aspect. But if you take a look at the amount of years that I've been on the council, on the Conservation Commission, there's probably not a square inch of Marlborough I haven't walked on at some point in my life, you know, because. You know, we talked about the Sarsville Way and redevelopment of that area behind it. That was an area that I used to go through when I was a kid. The Hillside School. You know, there's a lot of interesting stuff out at the Hillside School that I knew about. And so as projects come up, we know we can sort of anticipate, you know, what will be the impact of it. Being on the commission for over 50 years, I can say that I hope in 300 years somebody will say, boy, there was people that were really thought about the environment and tried to protect the environment. You know, we have an awful lot of wetlands around the city of Marlborough, and they're all under siege because every time you have any type of development, they want to do something in and around or add water to. So, you know, what we need new blood. We always need to have a new person that will come onto the commission and will be able to get out there and walk around and see what needs to be done. You know, you take a look at you know, they're in the process right now of developing the trail around Lake Williams, you know, the aquatic trail plus also the walking trail on the side. They're want to put in kiosks and things like that. That's what Karen Paquin has been doing along with Priscilla and Bill, excuse me. And you know, these are people that are willing to spend their time, not necessarily getting compensated for it. And this is exactly what we need to have going into positions in all of the various committees that we have around the city. And I'm so much welcome, Liz, to join us on the committee. And I probably took away a lot of your thunder there. If you had anything else to say?
That might be the teacher in you, Mr. Clancy. But I also know Miss Austin taught too. She was a substitute teacher. I was going to just ask about the open space plan. I know it's being worked on. It's so needed, and I agree with you, Mr. Clancy. The opportunity to have new blood, new views on issues such as our open space plan, I think is going to be very helpful. And you'll have my support at the full council meeting. I'm not on the personnel committee, but you'll have my full support at the city council meeting.
Yeah, Priscilla's been working on that for quite a length of time. Of course, she gets divided, you know, by all the other things that she's been doing other than just the Conservation Commission. You know, that's coming. It's coming. And, you know, we've been working on it for years, but it's going to come. And we're going to identify parcels around the city that are the ones that we want to protect and the ones that we want to acquire, you know, and hopefully it will be in the near future.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Great. Thank you. Anybody else? Any other questions, comments? Okay, on a motion to approve Elizabeth Austin's appointment to the Conservation Commission, all those in favor? All those opposed? All right, that is 3-0, it carries. So we will report that out.
To adjourn?
And motion has been made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor? Opposed? We are adjourned at 7:50.